Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Are you ready for the show? Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. We want your views, we want your comments, so join us live. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, guys, to the famous Aftermath show. As you can see, it is Jamie, but it's the wrong Jamie because I know you're all talking about Jamie Preston. But welcome, Gray. Welcome, Derek. Welcome, Ron. Welcome, everyone. Gray, yes, a lot of positive to take from the game, I guess. But you can see it from the complete opposite side as well. I will give my point on the game as well because for me, I wasn't impressed, but it's down to people's opinions, isn't it? Neil, welcome. Facebook user, make sure to click that link and you get your name on here. Good morning. There's a lot of mornings. I have not seen so many mornings before on any of my shows before, so welcome everyone. Tom, I saw your message as well. Good morning. Appreciate you all coming in. We'll get into it then. Obviously, we played Manchester City yesterday. It was always going to be a tough one. We basically lost the game within 25 minutes. And what can you say? There was moments there you could probably say it was better than what we've had the previous games. But for me, it looked like we just kind of... We came into the game as like we just didn't want to play. It looked like we just wanted to defend from the off and just try and reduce the goals to minimum, and that's just the way I look at it. Gary, welcome, morning. I would have took a 3-1 defeat before the game. Yes, but if you look at the game on the overhaul, if they didn't bring all of their quality off, I think we could have easily got slaughtered. I think they did us a favour by taking all of them off because that's when we kind of started getting into the game. And I would have said we probably deserved to get even a draw out of it, but after looking at the highlights, no, we didn't deserve to. What people are saying then. Chris, morning. Well, considering all the players start with a clean slate, we know the weak links in the side. Indeed, needs a lot more extra time spent with him in the training. Indeed, if me needs to be out of the team, he was awful yesterday. He was partly to blame for every single goal yesterday, and now you see the reason why. We've got to put Mendy in. Mendy's got to be starting that game against Wolves. Has to be. Indeed, he should not be getting into this lineup at the moment. He's been poor the last few games. Other than like the odd time against, I want to say Villa. I think he's played okay against Villa, but it just wasn't. Yeah. Mark, I completely agree. Vardy's dropping. We're playing like a pension up front now. He just doesn't want to do anything. We're basically playing a 10-1 formation yesterday. When Madison had the ball, he had just Vardy to play to, and there was nothing there for him. So if we want to go attacking, like Dean Smith said, Dean Smith's plan was to go out and attack, but keep in the game. There was no attack in the first half at all. Indeed, he's been awful all season. Well, I think he was injured for some of it, wasn't he? So I don't think you can blame him for all of that. But Facebook user says Mendy 100%, which is completely agreed. And again, I agree with that. I don't think Vardy's got it in him anymore. We need to use Daka. We need to use Iheanacho. And I think when Iheanacho came on, I think it changed the game. So you play two up front. I don't see why you go. I don't think far the back worked. Again, you could probably say it's just because it was Man City. But again, you've got to go into the next games and use the wing backs a lot better. What are people saying? Gonna say the finishing 11 need to start on Saturday. Yes, yeah, I think that's what I mean. Yeah, you need the best 11 going into the team for the next 7 games, and they have to be winning games because we were working it out last night on the coach that you've got 4 cup finals basically. You've got the 4 games in Everton, Leeds, Wolves, and West Ham. You have to beat or can't lose to any of them to stay in the race, to stay out. If you lose to them, you're out. You're down because the team, they're all the teams around you, and whoever wins that will push you back down. So it's whoever wins stays up. That is basically the situation right now, and it's hard to. It's going to be close. It's going to be very, very close. Mendy all day, yes. Maz, morning. Tom, Vardy can't start on his own. Vardy and Nacho both start next Saturday from versus Wolves. No. I want Daka, please. I want Daka. Vardy is done for me. But that's just the way I see it. Aggie, I still go for Vardy and Kel. Again, opinions matter. I'm not going to say no to it. I'd much prefer Daka up front. We brought him in for a reason. Tom Smith will start with 2 versus Wolves. I think you'll see a back 4-2. I'm happy. I'm glad. I don't want us to play a back 5. I just don't think it works. Christensen didn't want to go up the pitch at all. And Castagno, just again, he did at times, but it was just, what was the point of playing wingers wing backs when there's no one in the middle? It's pointless. It's absolutely pointless. What's people else saying? Sun Tzu looked like a man on a mission. Our best player. I'll go on to my matches a bit later, but I think there's a few other players yesterday that I thought was a better contender for man of the match. And that was probably the substitutions that have come on that I thought was a lot better. But that's just me. Even John Dyke says here that John Dilk says Sun Tzu looked good. He did look all right. Yeah, I'm not gonna fault that. I'll move the camera down a bit more because I can't see anything. Neil says Sun Tzu to keep his place, the best defender yesterday. I'd probably say he's the best defender. Yes, I won't disagree with that. Great save by Iverson. Totally agree. Well, yeah, we'll go back into the game a bit from yesterday. So we kicked off, did okay for the first 4 minutes to keep the ball out of the net, and then a corner came in. If I'm not mistaken, I think one of their players heads it, bounces back on the other side of the box, can't get it cleared. He can't get it cleared. About another 2 or 3 clearances later, it comes straight out to John Stones, the centre back, and scores a left-footed volley into the top corner with Ndidi again, kind of half trying to block it, I guess. Not the best sort of thing you want to see. You just want to see him get stuck in and get his body on the line to stop the to stop the shot, sorry. And he just didn't do it, and it's cost us. Again, you just can't let Stones do that to you because he, as much as he's a good player, you can't let a defender do that to you. But indeed, he should become a player manager. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Don't forget, we should have had 2 penalties. Gray, we should not. We should have not. I'm sorry. I will say this now. We should not have had 2 penalties. The Madison one, I will say that there's a chance it could have been. I can't know because there's no highlights for it because they've not put it in the highlights. But the arm handball one was not a penalty. It hit his knee / upper leg, I guess. He did not touch it with his arm. We all fought it at the ground, but it didn't happen. And handball is handball. As in, you mean their handball or our handball? Because for the Ndidi one, yes. But for the one that we asked for, no, it wasn't a handball. We shouldn't have had a handball, but could have been 3-3. Yeah, it could have been 3-3, but it wasn't. And both, no. Craig, no. The one in their box for at the end of the game, it wasn't a handball. He didn't even touch his hand. If it did, it was on his side. So, anything else people saying? Tillemans and Didi were both awful. Again, for half the game, I really wasn't really that bothered because we were 3-0 down, and I just was there just to look pretty, I guess. I guess just sing the songs and have a laugh, I guess. What about Madison in the box? Again, probably. He nutmegged someone, got past him, and then he went down. I'm guessing it could have been. We all asked for it, but we won't know because look, they didn't put it in the highlights because I'm guessing they kind of know it was a penalty and it didn't get given. I'm not too sure. But that is the perks when you go to the Etihad, isn't it? Look out the championship. maybe. Let's just hope that we do stay out of it. Great. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Leicester are nice. Oh, Leicester, we are nice onto Wolves. How do you mean? I'm guessing you mean we've got Wolves next. You just got to wee them, I guess. Lee, another crazy decision from Will to put his arm up. It's another schoolboy choice to put his arm up in the box. I think it's a hard one because when you're putting your leg up to block something, your arm automatically comes up, I guess. I think that's just how the kind of mechanics work, I guess. And that's just what happened. Castagna went in. He doesn't usually play a full like a wing back role, so he wasn't used to it. He took the dive in, and indeed he tried to do his best to get it cleared, and he obviously handballed it. But that's what Grealish did. Can't stand the guy, but that's what the best players do. I think Mendy over Ndidi and Nacho up front for Vardy. More of a game to assess the players. When I think we will do against Leeds, Wolves, Everton, and Fulham. I completely agree. I would definitely play Kelechi in that show. I'd definitely play him, Mendy. But again, I wouldn't play Vardy. I'd play Daka with him. I think there's no way about it. You can't play Barnes because he's injured. No point playing Tete as a wing if you can't play Barnes. So you play two up front. There's no point. There's no difference about it. You've got to go two up front. You play one up front when you've got no wingers. You might as well just not attack because it's just pointless, like we did yesterday. And I'm not trying to be negative. I just looked at the game yesterday and thought it wasn't good enough. Second half, everyone could say that the second half was good, but it was only because they brought the quality off. I'm sorry, they brought the quality off, and that was it. David says the fact that we're able to take off their best players to save them for Bayern that may have kept the score down and goal difference come into it. Completely agree. I said at the start of the show that they literally helped us out in that game yesterday. They could have slapped us 7-8-0, even 10-0 if they didn't bring all their players off. The only reason we got back into the game and even scored a goal was because they took all their quality off and they were left with subpar players that were probably I'm not going to say down to our level because we are as good as them at times because we are in the Premier League, but you got to look at it. It's money, really, isn't it? It's money. KDH is useless in the final third. Would play him as a holding midfielder. Again, agree. We should play him with Mendy and then play either Tillemans and Madison or whoever plays in the attacking third higher up. I completely agree with that. I don't think KDH has got a good pass in him. He's not good enough at passing. He's not a Tillemans role. He's not a Madison role. And he can't use his right foot. He can only use his left foot, and that's why he always plays on the left-hand side. You can still get out of this mess. We can. What the hell was my voice doing then? Yeah, we can. We definitely can get out of the mess. But like I said, 4 cup finals, you've got to win them to stay up. You lose them, you're down. Even if you lose 1 or 2 of them, you're down because you're just getting stuck in the position there. A positive in that Everton are really struggling in reality. We have to finish them, and Forest come United today don't normally stay that. No, Everton are in a situation. Obviously, Southampton are down there as well. Forest are down there. There's only 2 teams left that's near us, other than I want to say There's one team on 29 that I think they played today. I think that's West Ham. I think they play today or tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, and that could take them out of the position as well. So all that's left really is Forest and Everton that's still in our range to get out of it. And it's part for KDH. I've always said that. At the moment, as much as I was happy to see KDH come back under Dean Smith, he didn't show me anything special yesterday. Is Dean Smith into the end of the season? He is. What I will do is I'll put the link in the chat for everyone if they want to join. Get people's views on yesterday. Won't be Arsenal. Good. I'm glad they've got them. I didn't realise that. Aggie, no one really expected us to get anything yesterday, and we're just hoping the Golden wouldn't take a hammering. The next 3 games will decide whether we still will go down. Perfectly spot on, mate. Perfectly spot on. Yes, I agree. I don't think we expected anything yesterday, but when you're 3-0 down in 23 or 4 minutes, it was looking quite a horrible day for us. And when they went in at half time, they thought we'll let them have the goal. We'll let them have the space now, and just we'll wait for Bayern because they knew the game was done. As much as we tried our best at the end, it was only because their quality was gone. But like you say, Wolves on next Saturday, or whenever it is, next Saturday or Sunday, that is the biggest one yet. If we lose to that, that means Wolves is safe and we're not. Then it comes to the Leeds on the Tuesday. It's basically a week full of 6 points, isn't it? I think it's in a week, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday or Sunday, I think. And that's, wow. That whole week could decide our season, which is mental. Lee, we don't know our best 11 all season. We nearly have everyone fit now, with 5 subs getting some to run themselves into the ground for 45 minutes. And straight swap at sort of half time is more like what makes sense. I agree. I don't think the likes of Ndidi should be even starting yesterday. We saw the imperfections in him yesterday. Mendy came in against Man City yesterday and he did brilliant. I thought he was one of the better players. I thought Luke Thomas came on. He was outstanding. I don't think he made any mistake, really. I think he stopped, was it Bernardo Silva a lot of the time. He did brilliant. I think to be honest, he was probably my man of the match because he didn't put a foot wrong other than Mendy. But again, you can always go to Man City expecting the worst, I guess, and to be 3-1 at the result you get, I don't think you can really complain. It's only a 2-goal scoreline. So Wolves already safe. Yeah, sorry, yeah, they are. I would have said so. I think they're about 33 points, aren't they? So I'd probably say they're safe. I think it's about 6 teams now left in the relegation battle. I think it's 29 points and below that's still in the race to go down. Is it not? I wouldn't say the race because I don't want it. No one wants to be in the relegation zone, do they? Cags had a decent half. Again, I'm not going to fault it. He had a good half. But again, I think everyone could have a good half when you're playing 10 defensive and 1 attack. I don't think you've got much of an option. And then Graham, welcome. Oh, we've got Tom in. Here he comes. Hello,
Morning, mate. You're right.
Yeah, all good. How was your trip down to Manchester?
Down? You mean up? Up from Worcester, mate.
Everyone takes the piss out of me for saying that. I just say go down to anywhere, mate. What was your kind of takes on it, mate?
Oh, look, do you know what? Half time, I think we all sat there and we were just a bit like, oh, well, we've at least we kept it to 3. And that's one positive to take. There could have been a few more, but you know what? The lads put the bodies on the line. And I mean, I think Smith summed it up quite well. You know, who would have expected John Stone to put one in the top corner with his left foot on a volley? The Ndidi one, do you know what? When the look's not with you, the look's not with you. I mean, that could have hit anywhere on his body, but no, it has to hit his hand. And then the KDH ball back to Ndidi's not the greatest in the world. And before you know it, Ndidi's not really concentrating again, and they're 3-0 up. I mean, but second half, look, as much as people say they made changes they were still bringing World Cup winners on at half time. You know, they brought a World Cup winning striker on. To say they're weakened the team, I don't think they've weakened the team that much. I generally think, like I said in my Twitter page, that the lads actually turned the screw a little bit more and thought, well, we've got nothing to lose, but let's have a go at these and let's try and play some more football. I think the second half we were the better team in theory. I think we passed the ball better. I think we were more comfortable when we had the ball as well. I think bringing on Mendy was a massive part of that, and Pratt. I think they both changed the game in my view, and they should start next week. You know, Vardy up front on his own. People say he's finished, but what can he do? The ball was getting played up onto his head. I can't argue if he's saying Vardy's finished yet. I know he's on the decline. I'm not denying that, but again, playing him on his own.
The thing is, it just really doesn't help. Like every time we see Vardy up there, he's got to have someone with him. Maybe if someone's with him, he might actually score some goals. But when he's on his own, you might as well not play him because
it's the same with Daka, though, mate.
No, I do agree with that. Yeah, but again, you've got to use the two up front. I think when we saw Kel come on, you actually thought, are we actually putting two up front? And then he brings Vardy off. I'm like,
see, the difference with Kel is he ain't scared to drop deep and link the play up. That's the difference. He can hold the ball up. He can, you know, link play from the midfield into the attack to put the ball around the corner. He isn't scared and then make the runs into the box. That's the big difference for me with Kel compared to Vardy and Daka. You know, Vardy's 36 and you're playing the ball up to his head against three centre halves in view, you know, or two centre backs in their view. But I generally was quite, you know, happy with the second half performance. Like I said, for me, we play like that for the remainder of the season. I'm sure we can get out of the mess we're in. I really am. There was enough positives to take, and it was nice to see a manager who just like, right, half time, 3-0, things ain't working. Right, let's change it. Right, you're coming off.
You wouldn't have seen that before, would you?
You would never seen that under Rodgers, and you know, Rodgers.
He actually made all 5 subs as well.
Yeah, Rodgers gone. I don't bother at him anymore. But it was nice to manager who just went, "Nah, I'm going to change it. Let's have a go at these." And we did. Look, we all know now the games are coming thick and fast. We'll do, and obviously we got Wolves Saturday, Leeds United away, and then Everton the following Monday. You know, they are 3 games. We've got a target to get 7 points, from minimum 7 points out of those 3 games. I also look at the remaining fixture and think I'm not worried. I look what Villa did yesterday to Newcastle, and it shows that they can be got at if you want to get at them. I think we know we can get at Newcastle. I think the game of the King Power when they were 3-0 up after 29 minutes was just an example of the season how bad it was. But generally showing Villa you can do a job on Newcastle if you get it right. The West Ham game at home again. West Ham ain't that great. I'm not having they've turned the corner because they looked terrible in the other night in the Europa Conference in Genk. They look absolutely like shocking.
This is where as well I'll mention that if the likes of West Ham and Wolves are kind of out of the bottom bit by the time it gets to them games, obviously we've got Wolves next. Is it better for us that they're already out of the scrap because they won't be as hard to beat? I don't know.
I don't think West Ham will go down. I think they've got too much quality in my head, and from what I've seen, I think you can get a win against them. One point of view is that is. I think it's between probably from now the relegation people who'd be there would be Leicester, Forest, Everton, Leeds, Bournemouth. Now look, Bournemouth took a big stride by winning back-to-back games against us, and then Tottenham yesterday, so they've sort of pulled themselves a little bit clearer. But Leicester, Forest, Leeds, Everton are for me the teams are all going to be fighting, and you know if we can really do a result today that. In some ways, you'd say West Ham went and did a job over Arsenal today. It wouldn't be the worst case scenario that they pulled themselves out of it going into that final game of the season and get themselves safe before that game. You look at it, Leeds play Liverpool on Monday night, I think it is tomorrow. If Liverpool can do the job there, before you know it, everyone thought pulled away, hasn't pulled away as much as we thought, and it leaves 4 teams for 2 spaces because Southampton are gone in my view. I don't see them pulling out of it now.
I completely agree.
It's 4 teams for 2 spots in my view. And I generally feel we are better than the other teams in my head. I think the squad's better than their squads. It's all about confidence now. And I generally feel that the confidence I've seen after 4 days of training, what Smith, JT and Craig Shakespeare has done is quite phenomenal considering what we've seen recently. You know, even the performance in the first half, there was still more fight there. There was still a determination to try and do something. You know, yes, we'd set up in a formation to be defensive, try and counter-attack a team, and obviously 10 minutes in it goes out the window, but they still were putting their bodies on the line. And I think if you'd gone back 5-6 weeks ago, that was a game we probably would have got pummeled 7-8-0, mate. in my head, that we would have given up. I mean, Bournemouth, if we played like we did against Bournemouth last week against Man City, then that would have been a trouncing yesterday. So,
Oh, yeah, we didn't even try against Bournemouth. That was the
there's
issue.
enough positives, even out of defeat yesterday, to say I'm quite sure that we can stay up this season. I really am. If you'd asked me after the Bournemouth game, I was done. I think we all said it. That's done. We're all down. I think every fan would say we were doomed. There was no way Leicester were pulling out of this relegation scrap. But now I think there's a belief, and the only thing that will hamper us if we do go down is that the board didn't react quick enough, and they didn't have a plan in place. And the Villa game and the Bournemouth game will be two games that we missed out of having Smith at the club.
Massive.
If they had reacted quickly and had a plan there who they were going to place Rodgers with. So I really hope we don't go down. It comes down to like a point, because you'll look back and think that Bournemouth game was the crucial game.
Yeah, like you said, for me, there's only 4 cup finals. Obviously, the games that against Newcastle, Liverpool, and Fulham. Obviously, you could probably get points against them, but the ones that we're talking about are the ones that are near us, and we've seen on the reverse fixture from someone who put it in the graphic in the chat that we beat them all comfortably without conceding. So again, that was earlier in the season, but we've done it once. We've got to do it again, and if we do that, we will stay up. That is the biggest part of it all.
Oh, mate, yeah, but I still feel the Fulham game's one of the games we should be targeting.
Oh, yeah.
I generally feel if you look at it and went Newcastle, Liverpool, Fulham, you'd look at the Fulham game and think, no Mitrovic, what was one of the biggest problems in the first game against them. We couldn't handle him. And yeah, they beat Everton comfortably yesterday, but before that, I'd lost 3 or 4 games in a row. So, and one of them was Bournemouth. If you look at the game yesterday against Everton, Everton were a shambles, mate. All 3 of the goals were avoidable, and all 3 goals were put on the plate for them to score. So I look at them and think, do you know what? No, I won't be worried about Fulham either. I think that's another game that Shakespeare and Smith will be looking at and going, that's a winnable game. I think he will be. I think he will look at 5. I think he'll be targeted 5 wins. I really do. We'll get 4 wins and a draw, and he will look at that Fulham game as something that we should be getting something from.
Yeah, I completely agree. Nick, I'll bring you in to quickly get your views on. Nick, welcome.
Guys, how we doing? Sorry I missed most of the show this morning. I've been dragged to Tesco, so...
it's all right, mate. What was your kind of take on the game? What was your kind of views going forward? Do you think we could get out of this situation with what we saw yesterday?
100%. Especially if we play like we did second half. I think the second half was so much more better than the first half. For me, Ndidi shouldn't be starting. I think he's a shadow of what he used to be. He's not been right since he's come back from his injury. For me, I'd be starting Mendy in that position. He's a bit more solid and he's a bit more try-hard. It's nice to see Suyuncu back. You know, I don't think... Well, and also, we can't really moan too much about yesterday's result because, let's be fair, not even the most optimistic Leicester fan would have seen us getting anything out of it, would they? So...
I do agree. Well. I do agree. I was going to the game thinking we could probably try and nick something out of the game, but when you're 2 or 3-0 down in 20 minutes, you're already looking at the worst situation, aren't you? But
I mean, for me, if we play like we did the second half, where it was more aggressive, more attacking minded, there's no reason why we can't get anything out of all of the fixtures that are remaining. I mean, Newcastle, I can see doing something against Newcastle. I can. After watching them yesterday against Aston Villa, they were shocking against Villa. Villa should have won about 6 or 7-0. Watkins had him on toast. Fulham can be very hit and miss. And then obviously we've got the likes of Leeds, Everton, Wolves, West Ham. You know, just keep going underneath the radar, picking the results up, and then there's the pressure on everybody else. You know, West Ham, for example, has still got Europe to contend with, haven't they, at the minute? So their focus is on like the next leg.
Imagine you would have thought getting relegated, but still in Europe.
Yeah, but to be fair, it's not unheard of. It has happened in the past, hasn't it? You know, what's not to say West Ham that West Ham go down are in the Championship playing Europa League next season because they won the Conference League.
Hey, Wigan won the FA Cup and got relegated in the same season.
Exactly. You know, so anyway, nobody's bothered about the title race. Everybody's more bothered about the relegation. It's more exciting.
Yep, completely agree. Again, we were never going to get. Well, we weren't never going to get anything yesterday, but there was always hope that there was, and I think we did show a bit of a fight in the second half, and I'm glad we did. But that's where we're going to end it. Appreciate you, Nick, for quickly jumping on. Tom, again,
Nice one.
appreciate you coming on.
No problem, mate.
And we hopefully go into the Wolves game. Oh, sorry, next week, kind of full fixtures of the 3 games from Saturday to Monday, in a whole week of hopefully wins on the bounce, I guess. But we can all hope. We can all hope for relegation, survival. But hey ho, let's fingers crossed, mate. See you in a bit.
See you in a bit.
And that's where it is, guys. Appreciate you all coming on. Councillor, if we start with players who deserve to be starting 11, we are staying up. Cal, Mendy are crucial. Perfectly agree. Completely agree. The team I want to relegate is Leeds. Anyone but us, mate. Anyone but us. It'd be funny to get Leeds relegated. And Forest, that'd be brilliant. Liverpool, I thought we can get something out of. Home games. That's what I've said. The last thing I'll say is home games. We play at the 4 games I'm talking about are the ones that we have to win. 3 of them are at home. Everton at home, Wolves at home, and West Ham at home. They're all winnable games at home. You've got to do it. And you do not want to get to that final day having to get anything out of the game to get survival. You don't even want to draw because you never know what could happen in that game if we only need a draw. But that's all down to how we play going forward. Didn't Burnley get into Europe and then get relegated? I don't think they did. I think when they got into Europe, they finished 7th. If I'm not mistaken. I'm not too sure. And then Dave Hill, Man U fan today, want Forest to go down. Come on, Man U. We always want Forest to go down, don't we? But that's it, guys. Appreciate you coming on. And we'll catch you on the next show. See you in a bit.
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. Make sure to follow us on all of our social channels at Leicester Fan TV. Visit our website, leicesterfantv.com.